And welcome back to Who Would Win. I've already done the Q&A today, but we got a Who Would Win we still need to do. So it comes to us from Bizo Ezzy, who asked the question, who would win a fight? Ghost Rider, and we'll use the Johnny Storm one, this is the base one, unless you're asking for the other version, versus Firestorm from the DC Universe. Now, obviously Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, he made a deal with the devil, Mephisto, and saved his dad's life, only for that life to be taken away. Irony or all part of the plan? You decide. It's part of the plan. And he was cursed to become the Rider, having the spirit of Zarathos put within his body. He's now the Ghost Rider. At night, and sometimes during the day, it all depends on the storyline you're looking at, he becomes the Ghost Rider. As the Ghost Rider, he's kind of nigh invincible except to holy weapons and extremely high levels of magic. But as the Ghost Rider, he is the devil's bounty hunter. He creates hellfire, which can burn not just your flesh, but your soul. He's got the Hell Cycle, which can outrace Mjolnir. He can create chains on wind that can be used for multiple purposes. Magic chains that can just extend and burn and all that. His durability and strength are very high. His strength isn't as impressive as his durability. His durability, though, is through the roof, simply because unless you're using a holy weapon or some other obscure means of taking him down, something with supernatural basis to it, you can't really put the Ghost Rider down for very long. He will just get back up. The Ghost Rider is capable of eating souls, burning souls, and he's got the penance stare. Probably his most famous and arguably powerful technique. Using this, he stares into the opponent's eyes and turns all the pain that they've inflicted on him, that they've inflicted on others, onto themselves. This can even burn someone's soul down to nothing. Now, it does have some caveats, though. It does not work on someone who does not possess a soul. It does not work on someone wearing a mask, surprisingly. It does not work on the blind. It does not work on people who kind of just get off on pain. So I didn't work on Thanos. Thanos is just like, oh yeah. It's like that. So it doesn't work. But the Ghost Rider isn't just, Johnny and the Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider is Zarathos, first and foremost. Zarathos can take over and unleash his true power, which basically has been described on the level of a deity. So Zarathos and Ghost Rider together are first off, they're a very cool character. I actually stand as someone who liked and owns that first Ghost Rider movie with Nick Cage. The second one, while the effects and action sequences were much better, that suffered quite a bit. But again, to see just take that giant machine that's used to just bore out holes in mountains and just turns into a stem, okay, that's pretty badass. But then you have Firestorm. Now, Firestorm is a weird character. Firestorm from DC Comics. One second here. From DC. I want to actually have the information up here so I can know everyone's. Ronald Raymond is actually... Firestorm is technically... Ronnie Raymond, or Ronald Raymond, is the hero Firestorm. Fused with his... Fused with his teacher, Martin Stein, in the Firestorm Matrix. He has the power to transmute any element, provided he knows the chemical formula of it. So that's the thing, is that Firestorm is actually two different people. Apparently what happened, he was a high school student who had become concerned about a man-made disaster such as Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and whatever. Basically what happened was, due to Stein being unconscious during the accident, Raymond was prominently in command of the Firestorm form, while Stein's voice... Okay, so basically there was an accident which fused them together, basically. Now, as Firestorm, they, have the abilities of the Firestorm Matrix. Density control, has complete control over molecules, and can change the density of solids, liquids, and gases, hydrogen, heavy as uranium. Again, though, the catch is provided that he knows the actual atomic and chemical makeup of said things. Eidetic memory, basically a perfect memory. Perfect recall, basically. Energy absorption. Can absorb massive amounts of energy, as well as being able to absorb many different types of energy. Commonly, the elements energies associated with life in the human body or absorbed, such as solar energy, is possible to store energy and work it as an emergency battery. Energy projection. Tied to Firestorm energy, project massive amounts of different amounts of energy. Naturally occurring energy projected by firestorms are nuclear blasts. However, elements such as However, elements can project a number of different energies as well. Enhanced vision can see basically X-ray, microscopic, thermal, different spectrums. Flight can fly apparently at 300 miles an hour. Molecular reconstruction tied together with the Firestorm matrix create. Firestorm has one main ability, which all others stem from, the atomic fusion. Their atomic fusion or nuclear nature stems from nuclear physics tempering with the user's mixture of psychic energies as well as physical properties. Users accessing the Firestorm or the Firestorm matrix can call elements as they individually make the matrix. Basically, though, he needs to know the composition. Yeah. To do this, the element must know the exact element makeup of the object or human. And that's the catch there. Phasing, he can become intangible. Psychic link, sometimes called flowing ends, elements. Basically, he can see the other people inside of him. Generation, because he has control over his body, he can regenerate from a large amount of damage. Transformation does have superhuman strength. Certain elements can tap into this energy and become large, hulking entities such as strength and quite destructive to the host if not used sparingly. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Durability, he can survive bullets and stabs as well as physical damage of exploding constantly. And self-sustenance, he doesn't actually need to eat or anything like that. So when pitting these two up against each other, who wins? Firestorm maybe sees Ghost Rider causing problems in his area, so he goes to confront him as the hero does. Ghost Rider just like, not interested, and just tries to drive off. But Firestorm's like, okay, if the motorcycle, despite being supernaturally enhanced, is just a motorcycle. He probably can figure out the elements of the motorcycle very quickly and just transmute that and does that, and immediately he just Ghost Rider's just stuck in like powerful like steel metal. Like, now let's talk about this guy. Who are you, Skullhead? You're not. I think Atomic Skull's the name of the villain who looks like Ghost Rider. You're not Atomic Skull. You're someone different. You made a big mistake. So, yeah, I don't really think. And all of a sudden, Ghost Rider just shaking. The steel's crazy. Wait, what? And he's trying to change the density of the steel, but Ghost Rider just burns it away, just melts it. Holy crap! All of a sudden, chains come out and start attacking Firestorm. Firestorm is able to stop the chains. At least initially, he tries to break down the chemical composition of the chains. But remember, these aren't standard chains. They are magical chains. He can just summon these things. So even if he is able to change the composition, Ghost Rider just keeps summoning them on fire with Hellfire. And all of a sudden, he's grabbed by Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider just fires Hellfire at him, but he phases through the chain, tries to absorb the Hellfire. But once again, the Hellfire, note the energy absorption thing. Where is the energy absorption thing? Where is energy absorption? Basically, most commonly the elements and energies associated with life in the human body are absorbed. Hellfire is, hold on one second here, and not available, don't care. Yeah, Hellfire is supernaturally based. It comes from hell. Very much anti-life energy. So when he tries to destroy it, he immediately they feel the burns like, oh, what is this? It's like, this isn't normal fire. No. And all of a sudden, the Hell Cycle just reemerges. He just reforms the Hell Cycle. It's Hellfire. Exactly where you're going. And, he's just firing off Hellfire from the Hell Hog, or Hell Cycle. And Firestorm is actually now at, having a problem. It's clear, the skeleton's like, this isn't normal. What this guy is isn't normal. He can't figure out what this guy is. Because he's not a standard human. Otherwise, he'd know the chemical makeup of him. But he doesn't know what's making up, and he's supernatural based. So that really causes a problem. So while he's able to throw all these things at him, ultimately, it's not really doing anything to put the Ghost Rider down for any extended period of time. Furthermore, even though he's got enhanced endurance, durability and endurance, he still can tire out. Ultimately, he goes for a last effort as he flies off at 600 miles an hour, basically. Yeah, okay. One second. Firestorm has been clocked at 600 miles per hour. Theoretically, they can fly much faster. He's pushing his limits. He gets far away from any civilization as he can. But Ghost Rider's riding his tail because that thing can keep up with Mjolnir, which can fly to the edge of the galaxy and back. The Hell Cycle is no joke in terms of speed. And Ghost Rider's just riding on his tail, just throwing things out. Finally, he just is like, basically nukes Ghost Rider. Just boom! And he's able to basically reform himself but he's, that took a lot out of him. Just, oh, looks like we put down the bonehead. Yeah, all right. Time to get back to the. All of a sudden, he's grabbed by Chase. What? Your butt. And then Ronald Raymond of Earth. Your sins are innumerable. Now, that being said, they're not. Although he's probably. I mean, he's admittedly. Not. He's probably has some darkness in his history. Most characters do. Even Superman has some darkness in his history, despite being all truth, justice, like American White Boy Scout like. No, he's got some darkness too. But it's not enough that the Penn Stare would really do much. But it'd be enough to probably just, what are you doing? Like, they're like, ugh. Their psychic abilities, though, do help prevent some of this. But ultimately, though, Ghost Rider just starts burning him with Hellfire, which has multiple souls in there. And because there's multiple souls in there, there is more than one. He just suddenly, because I imagine, because he can just eat a soul, just rips out one of his souls and just what the hell? What did you do? I want to get the name. Martin! Delicious. How's yours? Just tries to basically, take out Ghost Rider. But unfortunately, now that he's lost Martin, like the Firestorm, it's no longer in battle. Like they're struggling. And just finally just eats his soul too. So why do I think Ghost Rider wins this fight? Well, one of the biggest reasons for this, it's a twofold reason. A, Ghost Rider's actual weakness and durability. He's only really weak to holy weapons and high levels of magic and all that stuff. Or at least no special resistance. But it then goes to Ronald Raymond or Firestorm's catch-22 with his abilities, where his ability to rearrange the atomic structure of something could pose a problem on some level if he knew what the composition of Ghost Rider actually was. The cycle is one thing, because the cycle is still just a cycle that he can still resummon, but it's still a motorcycle. He gets that. The problem is Ghost Rider, while a skeleton, is supernatural to a T. And that creates a very odd dichotomy here in terms of I can't figure out what this extra element is. It must be supernatural, which means he can't manipulate Ghost Rider at any real level. So despite the fact that he's going to be able to do all this kind of stuff, throw like molecules, throw lots of stuff at him, the Ghost Rider's sheer endurance and durability is just going to outlast him. And then if they try to just, go for broke and just nuke him, he might be down for a moment, but he'll just get back up. And then finally, he'll just, the Hellfire, they have no protection from that because that's not a standard form of energy that they're used to dealing with. So that's still going to hurt them on a, grand scale. And then the Penn Stare, while maybe not having this general effect it normally does, will still probably hurt them enough that they're going to be in some level of pain. Because Ghost Rider then just can either pull out a soul or just roast them. So ultimately, I go Ghost Rider in this fight. But that is just my opinion. What do you think? You think it's the Rider or you think it's Firestorm? By the way, that's a I just found that image online. Okay, well, I gotta find an image to make this thumbnail. That's a badass image of the Ghost Rider, by the way. Ghost Rider is one of the coolest looking superheroes. Definitely. But again, just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, though. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I'll see you folks later. And hit that bell if you want to be notified. Have a good one.